Hello and welcome to this channel. My name is Emma and this is a podcast where I talk about everything that I knit. Today is the second part of the last podcast, so there's only gonna be works in progress because last time I showed all of my finished objects, and I'm recording this a few hours later because it was long enough and I needed a break. So I'm still wearing my Petit by Florence Miller, and I'm going to start straight away with the works in progress that I have. Ooh, this is really hot. Going to keep it for later or forget about my tea and drink it cold. The first work in progress that I have is a jumper that I've already shown in here, and it's taking me a lot of time to knit it. And yeah, this is the Sumac pullover by Orlane Sucche. Here. And so the last time that I showed it to you, I was halfway through the first sleeve, and before that I had to dye some more yarn. So the yarn that I'm using is a yarn that doesn't have, it's not a brand or anything, it's a yarn that I bought on the island of Ouessant, and there was this lady who was spinning some yarn from the ships there, so I bought some skeins, and it was kind of whitish, and I started this jumper with it and I didn't really like the color, so I dyed it. I talked about it a few episodes ago, and I had to dye some more yarn, so one more skein, because I wouldn't have enough, so that's what I did. And I started the first sleeve with it. I don't know on camera, but I can slightly, but very slightly, see a difference of color where I changed the skeins, but it's really not obvious, and I don't think we'll be able to see it when we look at the whole jumper. So I'm done with the first sleeve, and I have to start the second one and then finish the body. I don't have much more to do on the body, but it's taking me a bit of time because I can't remember the pattern. As you can see, we have some like purling and a few things to do with this stitch pattern, and I always have to look on the rows above to see what I did, and yeah, I do like it, but yeah. And for the sleeves it's way easier because it's every other round that I have to do this pattern. It's a, how is it called? I can't remember how this stitch pattern is called, but I really like it. And it's taking a bit of time to do it, and I don't know why, but I'm not enjoying this knitting this jumper so much. I don't know if it's the combination of the yarn, if it's the pattern, if it's, I don't know. It's taking me so long, and I think it's just because the first time I knitted I didn't like the color, the second time I knitted it was way too big, so I had to start a few times again, and it takes a long time. But I tried it on, I put it on a longer cord so I could try it on, and it fits well. Although the sleeve is a little bit too tight, I don't know what I did with it. Was I knitting on magic loop for the first part and then went on small on 9-inch circular needles. I'm not sure, but what I don't know what I did, but it's a bit too tight, so I will have to block it, to stretch it when I block it. And I knew I would have to stretch it a little bit, and so I knew that the length would be a bit smaller, so I knitted a bit longer. But when I tried it on, I had already done the ribbing, and I was just looking at the ribbing to see if it was okay, or if I had to knit a little bit more. And it's a little bit longer than what the pattern recommends. I wanted to make it a little bit shorter. Whatever, it's gonna be fine. I think it looks a bit funny when I'm wearing it, but it's just because it's not the look that I had in mind. But having a long ribbing is not, it's not uncommon. So, and I think that because my gauge is too tight, like those are here, I don't know if you can see them, but my stitch markers here are the decreases that I made. I'm gonna get a bit closer. And here at the moon, at the progress keeper, is where I made my last decrease. And as you can see, I have all this here without any decrease. So no, I don't know what this one is. I can't remember. No, this was the last decrease here. Here, and so all of this here is without any decrease, and that's because my gauge was off, and I don't know why. I don't know what happened with this sweater, but it was really hard to have the right gauge all the way through this jumper. So anyway, I think I really enjoy wearing it, and yeah, I'm just not so much enjoying knitting it, so I'm kind of pushing myself to finish it. And also because I have it in my mind, I know that I have to finish it. Not that I have to, because I could frog it and I could do something else with the yarn, but I do like this jumper, I do like the pattern, the yarn too. I think the choice of yarn for this pattern, or the other way around, more this choice of pattern for this yarn, because I was looking for a pattern for this yarn, was not exactly the right one. I think it's a little bit too stiff. It would have been better with a more open gauge, well, bigger, less stitches for 10 centimeters, because it's a little bit too not tight, but not stiff. Like it's too tight. The stitches are too tight, and so it's also hurting a little bit when I'm knitting it for too long. So I think that's also why I'm not enjoying so much knitting on this. And maybe it would have looked. I'm a bit scared that it's going to be really stiff. It's not like really stiff, but still it's not very flowy and drapey. It's also rustic yarn, but still. Anyway, finished the first sleeve. I'm glad I did that. And I'm going to start the second one with the same skein of yarn. I have it here. So this is how it looks like. I think it's a little bright on the screen for you, so but yeah, and then finish the body. And I hope that within the next few months, maybe at the end of summer, I will have finished it so I can wear it in September or October. I think it's gonna be too warm for summer anyway, but it's not a reason not to knit on it during summer. And especially now that it's still not too warm, so I can still knit this big jumper. So this was my first work in progress. And the 3 other ones are new works in progress that you haven't seen yet. Which one do I start with? I think I'm going to start with this one. So this is a cardigan for my son. And before I show it to you, like since he was born, we didn't really have to buy any clothes because people gave us so many clothes, and so we had a lot of them, and we didn't need to buy any clothes. So I didn't feel the need to knit him anything because I felt like we already had some clothes. I wouldn't make a new one because it was unnecessary, and he had enough of them. And now that he's getting bigger, we had to start buying some clothes. So I thought, well, if we have to buy some jumpers, I might as well knit one for him, which will be in wool, 100% wool. And yeah, so this is what I started. And it is so big. It's way too big for him, but I'd rather have it this way than the other way around, so he can wear it in a few years maybe. I'm losing some stitches here. Anyway, so about the pattern, I'm using the Calendula Kids Cardigan by Sandra Magalhães. So agasalosed ebucaros, and I had the choice either to knit the 2 years old or the 3 to 4 years old. So I thought, well, he's a bit over 2, so I'm gonna knit the 3 to 4 years old. Well, he's just a bit over 2 years old, so of course it's way too big for him. But I thought, well, when I started it, I thought that he could wear it and it would be a bit too long, a bit too oversized, and we would roll the sleeves up so he could still have his hands free. I'm wondering now if he can wear it for spring. I thought he could wear it for like a jacket, so maybe he will do that. I don't know, I'll see. But yeah, and I'm knitting it with Rosários 4, and the yarn is called Douro. I think I have the tag here. I took it to show you. Where did I put it? Oh, it fell over there. So this is 100% wool, non-superwash, and it's a light fingering weight yarn. So I'm holding it triple. I don't know why. I thought I didn't look at the gauge for this pattern because I think that every pattern that I knit from this designer had a gauge of 25 stitches per 10 centimeters. So I assumed it would be the same here. So I didn't even look at it. I just took the pattern and started to look at everything that I had to do, and I just thought it would be a bit lighter, and that it would be good for spring. Well, all year round, but like he could wear it now and for spring and summer. But no, it's a gauge. The gauge is 18 stitches, I think, or 17. I don't know, but it's big. So anyway, it's faster to knit it, and as you can see, I've knit quite a bit of it. But I need to wear it to hold the yarn triple, which is not the easiest, but I don't mind. So this is the yarn I'm using. I think it's really nice green. And what did I want to say about it? This is the 4th skein that I'm using. Those are 50 grams of skeins, and I'm really liking it. I did a few modifications on this pattern. So this is a pattern that's really beginner friendly, but I thought that to make it a bit more fitting and sturdy, I would modify it a little bit. So the first thing that I did is, normally we have to cast on the stitches at the top, knit the ribbing, and then start the body. Instead, I cast on the stitches for the body straight away without knitting any of the ribbing, and I picked up the stitches afterwards to knit the collar, so it would be a bit more sturdy and long lasting. Because I thought that with kids, they're not, I don't know, it could be stretching a little bit, not just for kids actually. I've got my no frills sweater from Petit that I love. I've been wearing it quite a lot, but the collar is stretching more and more of the time, even though I put an elastic in it, and so I didn't want that to happen with this one, so I picked up the stitches. And then I added short rows at the back here, so the back is a bit higher, although I didn't want to think too much about it and make too many calculations. But what I should have done instead is to actually not cast on the stitches until the end here, and add some stitches along the way to have a collar that would be going a bit more, like not too high up here, but that would go down a little bit like this, and I think it would have been more comfortable. But well, I didn't do that, and I'm not going to start again. And I made one mistake too, because I had to knit, I can't remember how much centimeters, until I separated the for the sleeves, and I didn't take into account that we had to measure from the top of the collar until separating for the sleeves. And I knit just under the collar because I didn't knit it yet, and so I think it's a bit longer. It's already too big for my son, but now I made it a bit longer too. Great. And so I thought about that when I was measuring for the end of the body. So I was quite far ahead, so I didn't want to rip it off and start again. So I continued, and then I don't know, I went a bit too far. So it's a bit too long. It's too long for the sleeves, and it's too long for the body. So it's it's way too long for him. It's I think it arrives under his bum, so it's really too long. It's okay. It's way too large too. So he's gonna be able to wear it, I think, next year. I really hope that by next winter it's gonna fit him, not properly, like it's gonna be oversized, obviously, but still a bit better. I'll see. Anyway, so that's what I did. I did an Italian bind off for the ribbing for the hem and for the collar, because I really don't mind doing it, and I think it's really, it gives a really neat finishing look. And now I'm just knitting the sleeves. I think I have done like 3/4 of the sleeve that I'm supposed to do before the ribbing, and I'm knitting them on small circular needles, and I think I had to go down a whole 1 needle size. I think we're supposed to knit it with, well, the pattern calls for 5mm needles, and I'm knitting it with 4mm needles because I'm a loose knitter. And what else did I want to talk about? I have some wooden buttons, and I think they will go perfectly with this color and this kind of yarn. It's quite soft, it's rustic, not itchy at all, it's dry, that's it. I don't know how it's gonna be after blocking and after washing it. I made a swatch, didn't block it. Oh well. I often don't wash my swatch. And I think that's it. And then I will have the second sleeve to do, and then the button band on the 2 sides. And my son was really happy when I told him that I was knitting him a cardigan. He was really excited, and he was asking me to wear it, and I was like, it's not finished yet, you can't wear it yet. And so he's been wearing it without sleeves around the house until he was tired of having the 3 balls of yarns like around him, so he wanted to take it off. But yeah, I think he's gonna be happy to wear it. I asked him if he liked the color. I think he didn't really care. And he's gonna be really warm in this cardigan, and I think it's gonna be easy. I mean, he's wearing jumpers and cardigans, but I think it's good to have cardigans too, because we can open it and close it, and like when he's running around and getting real warm, I can open it, and otherwise I can close it. So yeah, so I think I said everything about this pattern. And the next one that I have is a new pair of socks. Since I finished the last one, I wanted to start a new one. I love having a pair of socks on my needles, and I wanted to cast a new one, but I thought I have to finish this one first, and then I'll cast on another one. But yeah, I'll show you this one first. So here it is. I'm just gonna show you the yarn first and then talk to you about the pattern. So this is a hand-dyed yarn from Une louve dans les bois, and this is the color l'odeur du bois, and this one is the color En amoureux sur la plage, and I love the 2 colors. This is a really rich brown with like kind of variegated, but not really. It's really beautiful, and this one has all those speckles like blue and yellow. I don't know if you can see. See the blues, and here you can see the yellows and a bit of the brown. Here on top you can see that this is the same brown as this one. And this was some scrap yarn, well, leftover yarn from a jumper that I made to my partner a few years ago now. I think maybe 5 years ago. I think it was the first jumper that I made. I'm pretty sure it was. Well, not exactly. I made one jumper like when I really started knitting, when I made one beanie, a scarf, some mittens, and then a jumper for myself. But since I didn't know anything about knitting, nobody could teach me, I took the wrong yarn, so it was way too big, not long enough, the color wasn't right, nothing was right with this jumper. I could never wear it. Anyway, and so the first one that I made, the first real jumper that I made was for my partner in fingering white yarn. It was extremely long to knit, but I did it. And he wears it quite often and he really likes it and he's really knit worthy. So I thought that I would make him a pair of socks with the same yarn as his jumper. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't do it the same way, but it was the yarn recommended in the pattern, the one that the designer took, and it's a sock yarn. And it was my first jumper. I didn't know anything about it. I think it was a few months later that I started to look into it and into the kinds of yarns and the fibers that exist and everything around that. Anyway, at that time, I took the yarn that was recommended in the pattern and it was some sock yarn. So I thought I have some leftover and I could do some socks for him. And so I had 50 grams left of this one, so the main color, and 15 of the small one, of the contrasting color. So I thought that I wouldn't have enough of the contrasting color to do the ribbing with it, but I thought anyway that it would be a bit too much to do the ribbing plus the braids here and the heel. So I did 64 stitches and 1 by 1 half twisted rib. I'll show it to you a bit closer so you can see it. It doesn't want to make the focus. Here it is. So 1 by 1 rib, half twisted rib, Latvian braids here, and then here, and here you can really see the color of the contrasting yarn under it with in stock and stitch. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. And here. And I absolutely love this color of the contrasting yarn. Whoops, lost some stitches. Here, so what I did, because it's a bit short, I would have liked it a bit longer because my partner likes high-legged socks, hand-knitted socks. And so the last period I made him, I made it really long. I made 20 rounds of the ribbing and then 70 or 80 rounds before doing the heel. I couldn't do that with this one because I didn't have enough yarn, and yeah, so it took a bit more yarn to do the Latvian braids too, but I think it looks really good. It would look better if I had more, if I had knitted longer here after the braids, I think. But I did this with what I had in my stash, so, well, with this yarn. And I really didn't know because I thought it would look a lot better with a short row heel, with this contrasting heel, with this contrasting yarn. But I went for a how is it called this? For this kind of heel, I lost the word, with the gusset because it's more comfortable. Well, at least for us. I've knit my partner a few pairs of socks now, and the one that he prefers is the one with this type of heel. So I thought that I would rather knit something that fits better but looks a little less good than the other one around. So that's what I did here, And now I'm doing the decreases, and I'm going to start knitting just in the round, plain stockinette stitch with this yarn, and I will do the toes with this yarn. Although I measured it, I weighed it, and I don't think I'm gonna have enough of it for the whole 2 toes. So what I might do is start knitting go until I want to start the toes and knit the second sock, and then divide the rest that I have in 2, and so I can knit the toes, and if I need some more yarn, it will only be for the last few centimeters, and I can take another one to finish. And yeah, and also I wanted to mention something about this. I can't remember. Oh yeah, I'm trying something new too, because I was knitting my socks with 1.5 millimeter needles, and I wanted to do something to make it, I think it was a bit tight, because I think that when I'm knitting with this small needles, I'm knitting a bit tighter, so I'm knitting those ones with 2 millimeter needles, and that's US 0. So I'll see how it goes. And I knitted, so I cast on with the old Norwegian cast on with 2 millimeter needles, did the ribbing with 1.5 millimeter needles, and then the sock with 2 millimeter needles. And also one thing, I knitted quite loosely the braids so it would be stretchy enough, because otherwise it can be a bit too tight to pass the foot. And that's it, I think. I don't think I have anything else to mention. So I do have some time to knit them because it's for his birthday that I'm knitting them, and I'm knitting the socks as a surprise, so he hasn't seen them. And I don't even think he remembers that I have some leftover yarn from his jumper. And so yeah, I can only knit on those socks when he's not around me, and most of the time it's just a bit of time in the evening when he's going to put our son to bed. So every evening I have just a bit of time to knit on them, and yeah, but I still have a bit of time to finish them, so I'm not in a rush. I just want to finish them by mid-June. So that's it. Oh, and for the second sock, I'll show them to you when they're done, but I'm gonna intervert the 2 braids the other way around. So the first one is going to the left and the second one to the right, and for the second sock it will be the first one going to the right and the second one going to the left. So they're going to be symmetrical. Oh, and I said that it was some sock yarn, but it's some superwash yarn with nylon. That's why I said also that I would do something differently for his jumper. I had to do it again, because I wouldn't knit it with superwash wool and nylon for a jumper. And that was it for this project. And the last one is a very long-term project. I've never shown it to you on this podcast, but I've been knitting on it for 4 years. I'm going to show it to you. So this is a scarf for my mom. And for the story, when I was in my hometown where my mom lives, there was one local yarn store that doesn't exist anymore, but in this store it was amazing. It was a really beautiful store, and there was this shawl and it was really beautiful, and so my mom loved it. And when she asked the owner of the shop how long it would take to knit it, she said 150 hours, but at her pace. And she's been knitting her whole life. The owner of the shop, not my mom. So we thought, well, it's not going to be 150 hours for my mom to knit it. It's going to be at least triple this time. So she didn't want to take that much time to knit it, so she asked if she could buy the shawl like this. The owner said no, that she would only sell the yarn and the pattern. So my mom said, no, okay, I'm not gonna do that. And so I went back a few months later thinking that I could knit this shawl for her. But at that time I was really a beginner, beginner knitter. And I thought that I would mess it and it wouldn't be nice. So I still asked the owner to show me the pattern and the yarn and how it looked like, and etc. So she showed it to me. She showed me how to knit it, how to make the pattern, and I thought, okay, I'm not gonna buy the kit straight away because it was quite expensive. And I just thought, okay, I just need a few more months of just knitting, and once I'm better I will go and buy the kit and knit the shawl. But when I came back a few months later, maybe a year later, I don't know, the shop was closed and I couldn't buy the kit anymore. I couldn't buy the kit, I couldn't buy the pattern. I didn't remember how to knit it. I just had a vague idea of what it was. So I bought some yarn and tried to kind of replicate it. I don't know how to show it to you. So it's not exactly how it, well, the pattern was a bit like this. Like it was, I'm going to show it to you a bit better later, but it's a big shawl. It was with silk and mohair, and it was with a very loose gauge, so it was very airy, and that's what my mom liked. She also liked the design, which was kind of white with many squares of colors, which is what I did here. And I thought that I never knitted a shawl before, so everything was quite new to me. But I thought that I would add a bit of a detail, so I added some lace at the beginning of the shawl, just a very small part. Here it is, because I wasn't sure my mom would like it, and so I thought that if the rest of the shawl is the thing that she had in mind, and if she didn't like the lace part, it would be okay. It would be just a small part. So the lace is here. I'm going to show it to you. So I did, I think I increased on every row maybe, very fast, and I did some trees and some, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I'm not sure. So you've got some trees at the bottom, some leaves and some flowers, some dandelions, and I really liked it. And then I started to do the decreases very, very slowly to make a really long shawl. So it's an asymmetrical triangular shawl, and I started with just a few squares of colors here. And then I'm making so many more at the end, and there are more and more at the end. And I have this left here to do, and I'm trying to knit it a bit here and then, but it's a bit hard to knit it because, like, for now I only have two colors plus the white, so it's 3 colors, and sometimes I have 4, so it's all tangled. Oops. So anyway, it's a bit hard to knit it. I have to concentrate a little bit, not to concentrate because it's not hard at all, but it does take a bit of organization. It's starting to rain very heavily, and I think we're gonna hear that. So I'm gonna make a break and start again just after the rain. The sound of the rain is not so loud anymore, so I think you'll be able to hear me well without being bothered by the rain. Although the light is a bit different, but I think it's okay. So as I was saying, it's not easy to work on this shawl a bit here and then because it's so big. I need a lot of different colors, and so they all tangle into each other, and so it's all tangled up if I don't put them correctly next to each other, like here. So it's not so easy. It's not something that I can take, knit for 5 minutes and put down, like a pair of socks, for example, or vanilla socks. Anyway, so it's taking me a bit of time to do that too, and I can't really do anything at the same time. I can't read, for example. I could watch a movie, but I don't know. I just don't take it out that often. So yeah, but I really want to finish it so I can gift it to her quite soon. That's why I'm showing it to you now. Also, since there are so many colors here, I'm weaving the ends not exactly as I go, but every time I have like 4, 5, 6 squares that are done, I'm weaving the ends, so I don't have all of them to do at the end, and it's a lot easier to knit without any bits of yarns everywhere. And especially since this is with mohair, it tends to stick a lot. So yeah. Anyway, I don't think I have much more to say about this shawl. I really like it. I hope she will like it too. And it's really big. It's huge, actually. But it's gonna be so comfortable, I think. I don't know how she'll be able to wear it, if she'll wear it as a shawl or a scarf, I don't know. It's so soft. I do hope it's not gonna itch her, because I think my mom is getting a bit more sensitive to mohair. I'll see. Well, maybe not mohair, but at least alpaca. The little scarf that I made with 100% alpaca, she thought it was too itchy. So I don't know. Well, otherwise she's going to be able to wear it around her shoulders as a shawl and on top of another garment. So yeah, this is it for this shawl. I haven't blocked it either, so I think the lace is gonna look better after that too, and also it's not so straight at the moment, but it's gonna block out when I stretch it a little bit. And yeah. And I'm holding only one strand of silk mohair, and I'm using 3.5, I think, yeah, 3.5 millimeter needles. So that's quite a loose gauge. I lost some kind of yarn. And so the yarns that I'm using this white. This yellow is really beautiful, I think. This purple. I really like this green too. The red, which is a lot brighter on the screen, I think. And this blue, soft blue. So I took a mix of like really bright colors, and well, the red is really bright, but I think we can really see the purple too, and softer colors like the blue, the green, etc. And that's it for my works in progress. Maybe I can talk a little bit about the next projects that I want to do, because I have the yarn here. I think I'm really on a sock kick. I really want to knit more socks. I'm just waiting, I think, to finish my partner socks. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But I have the Sue yarns that I think will go really well together. So I think I'm going to do the ribbing with this one. Or maybe just a few rows on top of the ribbing, then it's with this one. And contrasting heel and toes with this one. So this combo. And I was thinking, since it's spring, the summer is coming, I wanted to knit some shorty socks. And I thought that it would be nice to have something that's on top of the shoe. And so maybe a ruffle. So I thought about doing the ruffled socks, I think they're called, from Petit Knits. Either with this soft pink, which is like peachy beige, or this old pink that I absolutely love too. But I think I might go with this one, and this I might do a longer socks, not just shorties. So I have this in my mind. And also I had the sock bridge from Isolde Tig that I wanted to make. So I wanted to finish the tombeau tee that I'm wearing and then start the Stockbridge cardigan, which is in fingering weight. And so I thought I couldn't have two works in progress in fingering weight yarn, like two garments at a time. So I was waiting to finish the tombeau tee to knit this one, to knit the Stockbridge, but I'm not sure. It's gonna be quite a long project in stockinette, in fingering weight yarn, so maybe I'll knit it a bit later, maybe I will start it, I don't know. I still have the yarn, I'm still sure I'm going to knit it. I'm just not sure about starting a new fingering weight yarn project right now. So maybe socks is good. Socks are gonna be the way to go. I feel that I really want to finish all my projects, all my works in progress that are on my needles right now. I think it's cycling, like sometimes I want to finish everything, and sometimes I'm just casting on a lot of new projects. Right now I want to cast off and to finish. So I think I'm gonna try to finish everything. I still have the Billis tee on my mind. I took it out, I measured everything, it's way too cropped, so I'm not gonna have enough yarn. I have to buy some more, so I'm not gonna start this one straight away again. It was also a garment in fingering weight yarn, so I think this one is going to be on the side for a while until I buy some new yarn. But when I took it out of the project bag, I really liked the yarn. So I really want to finish it too, but not for now. So that's it for today. I'm rambling now, so I'm going to stop for today. And I will see you in the next podcast. Bye!